to change, our expansion plans when it comes to number of agents or anything else. I did mention some time back that the productivity levels will go up, the efficiency will go up, but in your core sales process, you will still need a human. The sales companion will play a role in, like I said, enhancing productivity and so on and so forth. So we're not looking at scaling down our agent expansion plan or any of our other distribution plans.
Well, thank you everyone. Thank you Rishabh, Sankar, ma'am, Arun.
What specific benchmarks are set for improvement, turnout time, first time right, resolution for autonomous agent force?
So some of the numbers I actually did mention, right? We have benchmarks. They are very internal to us. Having said which, we're not talking about step-ups. We are talking about benefits which are big, which are large, and like I said, some of them are already shown in my slides.
One more question. How will you deploy autonomous AI agents impact customer service operation expenditure over the next 2-3 fiscal years? What is the expected payback period for this transformation?
So I think this question was kind of asked indirectly, some few moments back. And the answer is very simple. I think, first of all, some of the numbers which are asked are very, very internal to us. Having said which, I would urge, anybody who's sitting where I'm sitting, to not look at, ROI, unidimensionally. The benefits are, multiple. The benefits are not restricted to Excel sheets and financials. And I think we need to look at it very, very holistically. I don't think we've come up with a precise formula just yet, but I think ROI is getting overhyped. I don't think ROI is something that we should be just looking at when it comes to AI just now. It's massively overhyped. It's a much bigger thing than ROI.
Thank you.
Time for one last question, please. Maybe last question.
Okay.
That will go in tech this year, and what part of the operating expense would tech spend?
So, when we do yearly connect any new projects, we almost like 40% of investment goes to new projects. So this year, predominantly it's going to be negative.
So that will be large part of the tech spend, as you won't be then making any traditional tech spend that you would.
I'm talking about the total tech spend, lights on, plus if at all you are taking 100, what are the new spends, what we are going to do, invest in the new future, for the future, it is going to be 40%.
And ma'am, same question to you. Are you seeing companies move their tech spend to AI, or is that another layer of added spend that companies are doing?
See, the traditional spend will always be there. They have a regular tech stack to take care of, okay? But in respect of the newer projects, much more of it is on the agentic side rather than on other sides. So if you're looking at new tech spend is absolutely tending towards agentic, okay? The AI layer, data foundation layer. So those are the areas that are really taking up the new tech spend. Other than that, they have the regular spend on maintaining the stack itself. That continues.
So,
Yes.
so just a question. When you said your tech spends and your AI initiatives that you're taking, how much of it do you think will help in reducing mis-selling as a problem, or will it have any role to play in it, or that way? And also, policy sales is something that is a bit of a concern in the insurance industry. So, because of this, do you expect a substantial growth? As you said, the TATs are all improved, but is it also resulting in increasing policy sales? What kind of a growth are you expecting in your business this year using your AI?
So, thanks Adhira for asking that. Clearly, in the long run, grievances will go down. I mean, just visualize a situation which exists today, wherein you have, let's say, 4,000 sales folks at India First Life, who are having individual conversations, with customers. While the training needs are paramount and the training imparted is also paramount, there will be individual nuances which creep in. Now you look at what we are actually moving towards, right? If you have a sales companion, all the sales conversations would get recorded. They would be kind of going through some sort of QC at the back office, and whatever is actually going wrong can actually get self-corrected fairly instantly. So early days yet, but in the long run, grievances will definitely reduce, and I'm very sure about it. I think one more thing that Agentic does give us is it gives us scale, on pretty much everything. A lot of people ask us, will headcount reduce? I don't think it will reduce, but people will do different stuff, which means that the quality of the overall ecosystem actually enhances. And Shilpi, just I'll add one more bit to the question that you asked a few moments back. At India First Life, because of Agentic, our cost ratios are not changing at all. Yes, there is a higher allocation towards Agentic, but we will actually cross-subsidize it from other businesses that we actually operate in. So, for the external world, if our cost ratios were X, it's not going to become X++ because of what we are kind of doing here.
On this missile piece, I'd like to add, see, when there is a conversation between an agent and a customer, okay, it's his word against the customer's word. If there is a grievance of missile, very difficult to really understand who's at fault. The seller will say the customer didn't give the information. The customer will say, I said this, in spite of that this was, offered to me or suggested for me. Very difficult to determine who really is at fault. Here, however, when the agent is recommending something, the agent is doing it on the basis of certain things we have fed the agent. Certain databases, certain knowledge articles, etc. Okay? So if there is such a grievance that there is a missile, you can go back and actually every piece of that interaction is auditable and observable. Okay? And therefore you can easily determine whether it is the customer's fault or whether it is the seller's fault. Right? And not only that, if indeed the agent said something which was not correct, you can then correct the tree. Correct the way you are adding the knowledge article, or correct the instruction that you are giving the agent, so that this missile never recurs again. This scenario at least will never recur. Okay? So to a very great extent, actually, this is much more empowering, both for the customer, brings in much more trust for the customer, as well as for the seller. It protects the seller from such allegations. It protects the customer by ensuring that the right knowledge articles are being used in order to respond to whatever their needs are, whatever insurance fits them best. So overall, I would say that this is a far better step, at least in respect of this.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. My question is the life insurance operations involve complex services, just like claims, settlement, policy.
Between both companies. But as far as AI, agentic AI is concerned, there is a debate that the nature of the relationship between the end user and the vendor is the term of the deal. Is it the longer the term of the deal, the more you trust your vendor? So what is the term of the deal? That is one. And the second question is basically on as far as the enterprise end user is concerned, it's been said that they are heavily negotiating with the vendors because the vendors are also using AI, agentic AI, and reducing their costs. So as far as the financials of this deal is concerned, because you said
I just have a very simplistic answer. Abhishek, when you get into a marriage of sorts, you don't have an expiry date, right? So honestly, we don't have a term, but I think the relationship has taken off really well, and which is why the relationship is at the stage which is at.
I will answer based on the earnings call, which we did at 2:30 in the morning this morning, and I was watching it. And Mark said, look, everybody has been predicting the death of software. SaaSpocalypse is the term that you guys have all been hearing for the last 18 months, right? And we've been rubbishing it, we've been saying it's nonsense. Mark talked about it openly. They said, AI is going to come and take away software, going to take away our seats, our term of our contracts are going to come down. All of that has been proven wrong when you looked at our Q2 numbers, right? Our actual contract terms have increased. The number of new customers coming to us has increased, right? We reported record billings, record revenues, record CRPO. Pick whichever metric that you want. This was a beat and raise quarter for Salesforce, right? So I strongly urge you to go. We don't ever discuss terms of a deal with a customer. It's confidential and under NDA. But suffice to say, listen to the earnings call. You'll hear all of those metrics, which again, you've heard the narrative of, is it AI versus software? No, it's both, right? At the end of the day, and Dario was on the call. Today, if you go to CNBC, you will see the interview between Mark Benioff, Dario, and Jim Cramer. One of the questions that Jim asked was, Dario, hold on, I thought you were here to destroy Salesforce. How come we're sitting here in partnership? And he said, we're not here to kill anyone. If anything, he said, we are the largest users of Salesforce, one of the largest users of Slack, and we see benefit in this partnership. So I think this whole narrative is starting to evolve, right? People realize that at the end of the day, the work that we do for customers like India First Life become the bedrock and the foundation which AI actually starts delivering that value. So that's how I would urge you to think about it.
I think I'll add one more thing. While the term is very nice and what Rishabh mentioned, it's a partnership which you have got into it. What you should can see is that what we started off and what we are adding, that should tell the story, correct? We are adding more and more modules as we go by. So that gives the confidence on why we are doing what we are doing.
Thank you. Next question.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Rishabh, you called this year the year of the agentic, and you announced this collaboration that you have partnership today.
Abhishek, so I'd like to know how this will make a better experience for the customer, considering a lot of parameters are there into insurance, considering financial underwriting as well as medical underwriting. So how it will be helpful?
So I actually got asked a very, very similar question at the summit a few days back. And I'm going to give a slightly longish answer. When it comes to AI, and then you kind of marry it with the various industries that exist, the level of AI intervention will vary from industry to industry. Right? I mean, you pick up something as basic as a Netflix, right? And there, you see 3 movies and suddenly you'll get a prompt that this is probably a movie that you might like, which is the simplest one. And you probably want to kind of invest your 2 hours and watch that movie. And at the other extreme, you probably have something like, if God forbid, but if somebody in this room had to undergo a bypass and you might have a pot to do it, would you be comfortable, right? I think insurance falls somewhere in the middle. Today, there are about 130 crore internet mobile phone users, about 100 crore internet users. There are about 2,300 crores of UPI transactions which happen every month. But insurance through digital means is sub 1%, right? So insurance, like I said, falls somewhere in the middle. I expect AI to play a very, very, very big role in risk mitigation, in fraud detection, in underwriting, in enhancing productivity of a sales guy, in training, in recruitment. But the core sales process, probably will still need human intervention, when it comes to a product like life insurance. So that's my answer.
So how accurate it will be, considering data capturing for it will be available for agents?
I didn't understand.
I think how accurate. So I'll give you an simple example today. One of the things that ma'am talked about is data entry is a pain for all of us, right? Whether it's insurance, banking, you go, they will ask you to fill out a form. It's the same questions. Today with AI, you can just walk into the room, you can ask that particular customer to give a copy of your PAN or your Aadhaar card, and we can connect directly from the Salesforce system to the respective platforms in the back end. We can pretty much fill the entire application form for all practical purposes without the customer having to lift a pen, right? So that's the beauty of AI bringing the capabilities of document recognition, ability to look through unstructured data and structured data equally and be able to deliver that very, very accurate. And in fact, it's in India where we generate so much paper, This has been the #1 use case for almost every organization in every industry. I need to get everybody a chance, so please let me get to the other ones and we'll come back. Bye.
I'm from Financial Express UK.
Yes.
I have 2 questions. The first question is for India First Life, second for both.
Sure.
My first question to Mr. Gandhi is on the term of the deal. You created a very good.
Where earlier you did not have a technology to solve at scale. Okay? If you take an insurance business, right, which has tens of thousands of agents, earlier we simply could not, from a technology perspective, solve that problem of agency, of engagement in a cost-effective way. Today, that is, possible, right? And it's going to be, and those costs are only going to continue to go further down as you've seen it. Can we have some silence too? And so I think it's very, very critical that in markets like India and these emerging economies, where the cost of AI is still more than the human, the CFOs are asking the question, where is the value coming from? And that's what we are hyper-focused on.
Right. See, I gave you that example of that research team. Just in order for you to understand, if you ask them, what is the insurance penetration? Now, should the insurance penetration be this low? So obviously there is a lot of underserved customers or non-customers, okay, new to insurance customers. Now, even though the cost of a call by a human being may be lower, but at the end of the day, the volume that that particular person can bring in will also be lower than what AI can handle. Just as if you have a 10-minute wait at a contact center and you have a 20-member contact center, does that mean you can make the contact center 200 members? You can't afford it. So therefore, to that extent, digital labor is required in a country like ours if we are to address the needs of 1.4 billion people. Okay? And if we are to do that, you can imagine the amount that business would really increase.
Right, so scalability is one thing and efficiency is what also was demonstrated by India First. My question to you also is, as an insurance company, what is the edge that you're getting vis-a-vis your competition, and how much will it roll out in terms of your performance efficiency with this particular adoption?
So I think I did share a few initial numbers, right? And the initial feedback is nothing short of phenomenal. We'll see how it actually stacks up. Obviously we have an ROI in place. We know when it's actually going to kind of become cost neutral and thereafter cost positive. One thing I wanted to add to your question, right? See, a lot of organizations, and now I'm looking at a customer lens, I'm not looking at the Salesforce lens. A lot of organizations, are adopting AI, are embracing technology because I dare say it's fashionable to do so. What we are doing at India First Life is a little different. We actually identify a business problem and then we see how technology can actually help address it. Clearly, if we address the business problem not using technology, you might have a cheaper solution, but the cheaper solution is going to be very, very short term. It's not going to kind of last the full journey. And as a result, you kind of quickly do the math and see whether it's kind of helping in the long run. ROI conversations, okay, if you ask me, at this point in time are very premature. It's you have a business problem, AI needs to address that business problem because AI is going to give you something which is sustainable. It's going to be a lot more efficient. And whether you make money or don't make money out of it, too early to take a call on. But I can assure you that it will make you money, but it will make you money in the long run.
My name is with the qualitative pieces. ROI is not only quantitative, it's also qualitative. If I can get my problem resolved in the first call, to if I need to call 15 times to 15 places, even if that is cheaper, it's not making a good experience. It's not creating the stickiness that I want for the customer. And in fact, in helplines, we have found that questions have actually increased on helplines. And we've gone back to the customer and asked why. This is our own experience, right? And customers say now we get such helpful answers. It's a pleasure to come back even with small problems. Earlier we decided we'll live with the small problems. Who's going to stay on the line for 10 minutes for somebody to respond? And that too they will come with a half a response. Today, we are immediately attended to and we get the full response. So we come back with more questions. So there is more usage of the product. So you've got to look at ROI in very many ways. Just looking at a number doesn't really cut it.
Hello, yeah, hi. My name is Mukbil. Excellent presentation as always. Two very quick questions. The first one is that number 94% that you had on your deck. What is the source of that number? And secondly, my question is to Rishabh. I wanted to understand the split between, since we have been talking about scaling pilots, how many of these agentic projects are in pilot and how many of them have actually gone on to production? What is the split? What is the percentage? Very quick.
We'll come back to you. I think Ashim has the source for the study that did it's a McKinsey report. Okay. So we'll get the source of the.
Right.
As regards to the agentic projects, so last year we did 7 LLM projects, all of them were in production, none of them were pilot. Straight away we did a pilot and all of them went into production. In fact, 3 we descended back to make it better. This year, whatever agentic projects what we are doing, the POCs are done, so we are just going for production.
So how many POCs are you currently doing?
No, all of them POCs are done.
So all the POCs are done?
POCs are done.
And what is the number?
Which number you want?
The POC number.
Number of projects?
Yeah.
Number of projects were listed there.
Okay.
Those are the projects.
I'll take the numbers.
Yeah.
Interesting dynamic that happens in India is that the cost of the user is still cheaper than the cost of AI. The foundational issue, it's not just India, the entire region in South Asia, right? And you can attest this in 2 years
It's
back.
all about relativity at the end
Correct,
of the
right.
day.
So when we launched Agent Force, we had a customer come and say we were spending $7 for a call in a contact center. We managed to bring it down to $2 and they were celebrating. And one of my customers from India sitting next to me said, "Kahan se aaye? Hamara to ₹7 ka call hai," right? Just to give you a perspective, right? And so I think two things, right? We need a forward-looking organization to say, yes, there's cost, but there's also customer experience in NPS. So I think when you think about the core parameters that drive AI adoption in the Western world is very different from what drives AI adoption in India. In India, AI is going to help
the need for a full stack service and creating the entire infrastructure for a seamless AI adoption. But I wanted to understand how difficult is this ROI discussion, which is the biggest point of discussion in almost all the boardrooms, and what are the hurdles still that you face in making the companies understand that this is an investment in future? Where are the hurdles that are really being...
But again, first of all, thank you all very much for coming here today. We really are grateful for the time that you are giving us, and to that extent, we'll go back to the last slide. Yeah, so this is our gratitude slide, and we really and truly mean this in its full extent, that we are very thankful for your presence here. As you know, every once in a while we come together in order to tell our story. But our story is best told when it's done with the customer. And it's the customers actually, that really and truly drive what we do. One of the reasons, by the way, that I keep getting asked is, why did you change from, being a banker to somebody in AI? And I continually mention this, that in my first meeting with Mark, what really impressed me was the fact that he showed me only one slide of what Salesforce does. But at the center of all of those activities was the picture of an actual customer. And I've spent my life trying to push the customer to the center, so this really and truly appealed to me. So, what we have been trying to do, our vision since the very beginning, is how can we help our customers connect to their customers in a whole new way? And how can we do it at scale? How can we do it in a manner that is a win-win both for the customers as well as for the customer's customer? And that's what we have been doing all of this while. Now, if you look at our journey in India itself, in India we started quite early in 2005, but it was